Okay, alright, so, yep, this is the first Koontz live stream. I'm Chris. Ignore what it says Moose down here. This is Daz, or Darren.
Yes.
Okay, so,
Whichever you prefer.
I guess what we're going to talk about tonight. We've got a bunch of things to talk about. We're going to talk about Halloween Kills, Chucky, the TV series, and a lot more. But let's start with some current news. There's not much going on in horror news, but there's quite an horrific accident with the Alec Baldwin shooting. Have you read up on that, Daz?
Yes, sir. I did read up on that, and as you already know, it's nothing really new in Hollywood. People dying from prop guns.
No. I mean, a lot of people seem to be comparing it to what happened to Brandon Lee. I've seen a few
Yeah,
people,
I have seen that a lot.
A lot of people are erroneously sort of stating that it's that Brandon Lee was killed by a live bullet, which isn't true.
Yep.
Brandon Lee wasn't killed by a live bullet. Brandon Lee was killed by he had obviously not a prop gun, but a gun that fired blanks.
Yeah.
And the gun had a blank.
Yep.
Yeah, it had a blank cartridge in it, but the prop master had failed to clean the barrel of the gun out, and there was debris in the barrel. So when they fired the blank, that still fires that debris out of the barrel at such a high velocity, it's going to kill you. So no one knows what that debris is. It just says in the reports debris, metal casing, some used spunk. Who knows? Yeah. It fired at high velocity and it Brandon Lee in the chest, and well, it killed him.
Killed him, yeah.
This is different. I mean, this is he was killed by an actual live round. Now that's a little strange. I mean, why would you have a live round on set? I mean, that's really strange. I mean, it's a Western.
Little bit suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit. I mean, there's been some conspiracy theory online already because the films had talks of walkouts on the crew and things like that. So people,
I've read those as well. Yeah,
which is, I think that might be tinfoil hat time, but who knows? You don't know, do you? Nobody knows.
Yeah, a couple of people I talked to. The first thing they said was, one of the crew members must have sabotaged it, and they were setting it up so this would happen. They were setting Alec Baldwin up. I'm like, yeah, but where have you got that from?
Does anybody cares about Alec Baldwin enough to set him up? It's ridiculous. But the thing is, it's a Western, so they're obviously, I think it's set in the 1800s, whatever, and it's they're obviously using a really old firearm. And it's not going to be a prop because it fired a live bullet. So they used the live firearm, an old revolver. And what, couldn't they get blank cartridges for it? So they just thought, we'll just stick live rounds in it. And Alec, just don't point at anybody. Alec! Thinking, no, cinematographer's dead. And the director's been injured. It's absolutely insane.
And that's the thing, it's a revolver as well. With being a revolver, it's killed one person, obviously, and injured a second. So I'm assuming it came out of one shot from a revolver.
Yeah, because, I mean...
So it wasn't a shotgun that scatters or anything.
Oh, I'm going to put myself in Alec's method acting shoes here for a moment. Okay, so Alec's got his gun.
Yeah.
Pointing it. He
Alec,
fires.
Is that you?
Fucking, director it's for. He's like, I love your method acting. It just keeps fucking firing. Did he forget the people behind the camera aren't in the film? Why? Because, I mean...
That's the
Did he fire a second shot? Did he go, that's really good, yeah.
I know, that's the thing with the lack of details. It leaves those questions open. And I think that's where some of the, the old conspiracy theories are coming from about...
Probably without the details.
Give them a live gun. The movie was going to shit. The cast members weren't happy. They gave him a live gun. Go on, Alec, do it.
I think it probably was a case of he didn't. Obviously, he wouldn't have known. He's an actor. The prop master's given him the gun, and he'll have pulled the trigger. And it's. I mean, we don't know what kind of ammunition this gun takes. I mean, you've been in Texas. I'm sure you must have been shot at loads.
Yeah, happens all the time over there.
But obviously, bullet could have gone through the cinematographer, killed that poor lady, and then hit the director. It's a tragedy, and obviously there's a lot of people out jumping on Alec Baldwin. Now, while I'm not a fan of Alec Baldwin, it must be really, really terrible to be in his shoes right now, because he would have been handed a gun by the prop master, and then he's aimed it, and he's now killed someone because somebody didn't do the job.
I did also read that before they handed him the gun, they shouted out the phrase to say the gun is actually, safe to use. Yeah. I can't remember what it is. It's called something.
I've no
idea.
idea.
That's the thing, yeah. Did the checks actually get done? Obviously not.
That's that's scary, isn't it? That's pretty scary. Because, I mean, obviously people say, yes, but, he pointed... I think I saw Tim Pool say, yeah, but in the end, he did point the gun and he pulled the trigger, so he is responsible, whether it was on purpose or not. But that's not how it's ever been in films throughout films, the history of films have been made. Maybe that should be changed now, because obviously this is maybe one of a handful of accidents. Really, when you think about how many films have been made over the years, it really is a really small handful of these things, but that's no excuse for
it is rare that it happens. I mean, I'm not, like I said earlier, it's not new that it happens, but it does happen and it is rare. Who knows what's going to change after this? It does make you think, are they going to start, making it where it's the actor's responsibility, where they say, okay, we're going to train you up with guns, you have to check the gun before you actually use the prop. Are they going to start doing that now, or who knows?
Maybe, I mean, that's what I was thinking, obviously, like maybe they should hand out some training to actors so that they know what they're doing when they're actually handed a firearm and they can do a double check. But then, obviously, once they've done that check, then that makes them liable, I think, on a legal sort of perspective. Anyway, it will change because insurance companies going to go mental when they're paying for this. Absolutely mental. But I mean, Alec Baldwin, I mean, Michael Massey, who shot Brandon Lee, he did. I don't think he worked that a great deal after The Crow. He was
apparently
very
he went with depression and a bunch of other problems from what I heard.
I remember I did see an interview with him where they actually brought it up, and I don't think, obviously he didn't want to talk about it on camera, but they asked him, and you could just see it in his eyes. You see in his eyes, absolutely devastated, because for all intents and purposes, he killed this promising young man, the son of a legend as well.
Yeah,
it's that's not easy. That's not going to be easy on anybody.
It's not something you want. It's not something you want on your character, is it? Really? No.
But well, that's that depressing news out of the way. Let's maybe we should move on to Halloween Kills.
Yes. Halloween Kills.
Right. I'm interested to. I am interested to hear what you've got to say on this one. I am.
Okay, I'm going to be honest right off the bat here.
You want to start?
Yes, I'm going to say it was a bit of a mess.
I was very apprehensive in what I was going to tell you because I didn't want you to not watch it. So I was really, I was like, it's pretty interesting.
That's why I was so eager to jump in and watch it before we started talking anything about it, because I was like, okay, I better just get in there, watch it, just develop my own opinions here. And it was very reminiscent of Halloween 2, with the hospital theme and everything.
It is, and it's also a massive waste of Jamie Lee Curtis, just like Halloween 2.
Yeah, just like Halloween 2.
Don't move.
The only difference was she wasn't wearing that terrible wig this time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the wig. It's been a while since I saw Halloween 2. I mean, a lot of people do say Halloween 2 is a good film. I've never been a fan of it, to be fair. I've never been a big Halloween movie fan at all. I mean, I like the original. It's a classic for a reason. The sequels, I kind of like Halloween 3.
I like the original.
I like
but then
the
after
2008
that,
one as well. I was that was impressive because it was back. It was a bit more grounded. It was a lot, it was brutal again.
I think that's what it hit me for with that one.
That bathroom kill with the reporter. I mean, that was really intense. That was really well done. But obviously, Halloween Kills recently come out. It's been on streaming platforms as well, and it opens on the original Halloween night from the original film in I think is it Halloween 1978? Does it open?
Yeah. No, does it open on? I thought it opens on where they left off with the last movie.
Well, that's what I mean.
And then it shoots back to the 70s. And it's a messed up timeline. The timeline's a bit weird in there.
So it opens with the kid who had no right surviving the previous film. The kid in the dress, the jerk boyfriend, who finds one of the police officers bleeding out, and he helps him. And then it goes to the all the way back to the Halloween 1978, and it's the period. I believe it's the period between right before Dr. Loomis gets to the Strode house. Well, maybe before even Myers gets to the Strode house.
Yeah.
And there's like he has an interaction with the police and some kids and stuff, and I like the opening, even with the. I mean, it's a good aesthetic. You know, they filmed it really well. It kind of looked John Carpenter-y. I'm not so sure about the Uncanny Valley Loomis, because they did have a CGI Donald Pleasance.
Yes, I was going to mention the old Donald Pleasance thing where... So it looks like him.
Yeah.
But when he talks, when he says, "Did Michael kill again? Tell me!" I thought, that just seems like really poorly acted. I had this look on my face where like, what's this?
It's a bit jarring. It's definitely a bit jarring.
Yeah. But there's one thing I noticed right off the bat though. What I noticed in that scene as well, straight away, was Jim Cummings.
Oh, right, yeah.
From that Wolfman movie. Snow Hollow, the one he directed.
Oh, the Wolf of Snow Hollow, or whatever it was.
Yeah, but he directed and starred in. As soon as I saw him dressed as a cop, I was like, it's almost like he's playing the same character.
You know what? I didn't recognise that was him.
Didn't recognise him. Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. And then, of course, he gets shot in the neck and dies.
Yeah. And then he pledges that I'm going to catch Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And then promptly spends the rest of the film in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Because he's the cop that got hit in the neck in the previous film, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, later he was going to die in the previous film.
I'm going to get Michael Myers. I better have a lay down for an hour and 40 minutes first.
It's like in the previous one. For all we know, I think it was like left as if he was like dead. And then in this one, we're like, no, he's not dead.
Oh, he's not dead. He's all right.
This kid in the dress finds him.
That kid in the dress, right? Well, I'll get to that later because I don't want to jump forward. Spoilers, by the way, because we're going to spoil this film.
Yeah. It's going to spoil the shit out of it.
You know, if you want to watch it, go watch it. I'm not gonna. It's entertaining enough. I think it was fun enough, but
there's some fun kills in there. I think had some fun kills. Namely, the kid in the dress.
But if you're not bothered, we're gonna spoil it.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah. So then we get to like the sort of the end of the previous film where Myers is trapped in the burning house.
Oh Christ! Yeah.
With the hyper action firemen. I have never seen a bunch of more macho, fucking ready for action firemen in my life. They all jump off at fire truck just like this with crowbars and hose ready and just like.
Yeah, as soon as that scene started, you know, Michael Myers, you know, he's killing people in the house. He's reaching up, he's grabbing one of them, killing them. The other firemen outside have got no idea what's happening. Now the building is burning.
Yeah.
This guy, Michael Myers, comes walking out of the building, just strolling out. The firemen immediately pick up the axes.
We're going to kick his ass.
Oh, we're going to kick this guy's ass. He's just escaped the fire.
He could have been anybody.
With a mask on, the back what? He's a burn victim. But we're going to fuck this guy up.
I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing out.
I mean, Michael Myers with a fucking big crowbar thing, with that big metal stick. He starts fucking sword fighting with his firemen with axes.
You know what he was?
I'm laughing my ass off.
I'll tell you the bit that just made me start laughing. When the one fireman gets the big cutter, the big chainsaw cutter thing.
Metal cutter thing, yeah.
A big metal cutter. He's like, come on. And then he fights him with it.
Michael Myers swinging his steel pole around like some sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
His rebar against his still saw or whatever it was.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, that was something. And then it moves on from that amazing, ludicrous but amazing scene to the Tommy Doyle, the grown-up Tommy Doyle, played by Michael C. Hall from the Dead Zone TV series and you know, the great teen film Weird Science.
Which, him turning up in this, so there's a big plot hole in this movie.
Okay.
There's a big plot hole in this movie. So, Tommy Doyle turns up, he does his thing, he's on stage, you think he's going to sing or poetry or some shit, he tells a story about Halloween, everybody's like cheering on. But as you know,
that story, when he starts telling that story, he's in Haddonfield. Everybody in Haddonfield has heard that story like at least once a year for 40 years. But they're all sat there enthralled. Instead of going, shut up, dickhead. He said, bugger off. Oh dear. Company.
Oh no.
Billy's in bed, mate. Billy's in his own bed. You have to go to bed. Go on. No, we have to leave Billy alone. Go on. He wants the dog.
Oh.
He can't have the dog. The dog's asleep elsewhere. So obviously he's he's telling that story. And everyone's just like, oh, I've not heard this before. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's like the first thing. Tell him the story.
Yeah.
But he goes to the bar, has a drink, shit starts happening, they see it on TV. What do you see flashing up on the TV, what he's watching? These are the two scapegoat convicts. Michael Myers and this other scapegoat convict.
Yeah.
Now, here's where the plot hole comes into it. A little bit later on in the movie, the second escape convict turns up, and they're running around chasing him. And not at one point does Tommy Doyle say, that's not Michael Myers. No, he's like, evil dies tonight, and they go chasing this guy when he's just seen what Michael Myers looks like on the goddamn TV. I mean, he goes chasing the other guy, getting lost like on this big witch hunt.
Yeah, he's about 2 foot smaller and 10 foot wider. That is silly. That is there just to give him something to do. That red herring thing is just there to give him something to do, because you'd only have half a film if they didn't put that in there.
You'll see if they hadn't shown the escaped mental institution guys on TV at start, Michael Myers and the other guy, if he hadn't seen what they look like, that scene would have played out a lot better. But the fact he already knows what they look like, and he starts this witch hunt against this guy, he sees him in the background. Oh, that's Michael Myers. Evil dies tonight. But how do we know it's not him? How do we know? Because you've just seen him on the TV recently, and now you've got this innocent man killed.
It is very silly. That is really silly. And then that was obviously during the speech and all that part. At least every character in the film repeats some iteration of Michael Myers has haunted this town for 40 years. Every single character repeats that line in one form or another. It's really, really annoying. It gets really annoying after a while.
It's like we say, everybody in that town, they know who Michael Myers is.
And when they get the vigilante gang and he's running around, he's pulling up outside the liquor store, it's like, I need some gum. The only thing I could think of was Homer Simpson's vigilante gang when they were after the cat burglar of the Simpsons. I don't know why, it's all I could think of. Just like Barney and Moe, just swinging like a padlock and a chain round.
A little bit hard to take seriously when they did that whole scene.
I know they offered the Tommy Doyle role back to Paul Rudd. It's like, oh no, I'm making Ghostbusters. I think he read that script and went, no, I don't think so.
He's like, no, this is not going to be my career.
I don't want to lead Homer Simpson's vigilante gang. But,
what's this? The Simpsons live action? No, screw this shit.
And this is one of my around about this time in the film as well. Is probably one of my favourite logic flaws in the film. There's a massive logic flaw in the film. So the Laurie Strode's in the hospital from the previous encounter. A daughter's there and a granddaughter. So the granddaughter and the mother are talking. Are talking outside the hospital room, and the granddaughter's going, I want to go and join Tommy Doyle's lynch mob. We're going to go and get Michael Myers. And the mother she looks at dead eyes, she says, no, that's crazy. That's dangerous. Like, you can't do that.
Yep.
And then she says, you need to stay here with your grandmother. And then says, Michael Myers is on his way here because he's after her. Like, what? She's like, I've been telling everybody in the hospital Michael Myers is on his way here, and you need to stay here.
Yeah, and die with Grandma.
What?
Grandma's not dying alone. Get him.
She's fucking taking you with her. Oh, that was That was absolutely ridiculous.
I've got all scene where she wakes up, Jamie Lee Curtis, she wakes up out of the, you know, comatose state that she was in and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, she does that whole sacrifice thing, that self-sacrifice thing where she's on about, if I'm going to end it, I'm going to take him with me. I mean, she doesn't do anything. She just stays in the hospital. Yeah.
I think she might have needed it. I mean, she's an old lady now. Jamie Lee Curtis is an old lady. She just did Halloween 2008, and I thought, she was all right, and now she's really active. She might need a bit of a rest rule this one to get enough energy for the third one. So when she's got her energy back for the third one, and then she'll have a Harrison Ford accident like on Indy 5, and then they'll have to replace her. So
get some body double in there.
Yeah.
A body double that's obviously Dwayne The Rock Johnson running around in a wig.
So they're your returning characters, really. Obviously, you've got Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
She's in hospital. The wounded cop, who was allegedly in part of the event of 78, is on a hospital bed right next to her. Both have vowed to catch Michael Myers and don't move much. Then you've got the daughter-granddaughter from the original film, the jerk boyfriend who runs around in a dress.
Yeah.
And then you got Tommy Doyle, and then the only other characters of these are sort of a mishmash of just barflies that are only there to get murdered. Oh, sorry, one of them, there is another returning character, isn't there? Lindsay from the little girl from the original Halloween.
Yeah, she's
also in it, and that is actually the same actress that played her as the little girl as well.
Yeah, they're actually the same one for her.
She's in it, but the rest of the characters are quite expendable. There's the
Paul Rudd's career. I mean, he's in a good place right now. He didn't need to return to that role.
No.
Now, the one who played the little girl in the original, she was like, you know what?
She's on American reality TV, so she needs.
Things have dried up on the acting front a little bit.
But I mean, the rest of these characters are pretty. They're pretty annoying. I mean, there's the black couple. With a obviously
the doctor and nurse, Halloween costumes,
the nurse, the woman who's in charge. The woman's dressed as a nurse, and the man's dressed as a doctor. But she's sure to tell everybody that I'm the doctor and he's a nurse in real life. And she just sort of bosses him around for the entire film, doesn't she? But I'll give him props. I'll give the soy husband props for trying to strangle Michael Myers with a stethoscope, because that was amazing.
Yeah, just I'm laughing my ass off as soon as it happened. I'm like, fuck is he?
I was really annoyed by him, and then he did that. I'm like, this guy's all right. This guy's all right. Keep him for next one. No. But then obviously the woman. It's got to be the woman. Like, she comes running with a massive hand cannon.
Yeah. Can't shoot for shit.
Well, you can take bullets anyway, can't you?
There's another scene near the start of the movie as well. So, like you said, with all the returning characters, and then they added some new ones in there, like the cop, tied into the original. And then we have that kid who's on the street. Michael Myers walks towards him, and the cops turn up, and he looks up and he's gone. Now, we're looking at that scene, and we're thinking, are we trying to say that Michael Myers took mercy on him, or what? Or was it just the cops saved him?
Yeah, it's one of those It's one of those
the left open so that,
They always did that in the Friday the 13th films as well. They're always whenever it came to killing a kid, something had always happened so that the kid did die. But in Halloween 2008, he did kill the kid. You didn't see it, but he killed the kid when the dad and the boy stopped when the prison bus had turned over.
And even on this one, though, he killed the kids in the playground, those who was on the swing.
He did, that's right.
He killed those two later on.
He throws his head, doesn't he?
So I'm trying to think, I was trying to say that he didn't kill that kid because he was being bullied by the other kids earlier in the movie. Yeah. He's just took pity on the defenceless and weak, maybe saw himself in him or something. Or was it just so the cops did turn up and save him just in time?
Well, yeah. Probably. I mean, I can see what you're saying, but they've never given us anything to even assume Michael Myers got bullied as a kid or anything. They always just said, he's just a bit.
It's like that conversation at starting where it's a bit weird standing in his sister's window.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
Jerked it off or something.
I'm going to definitely get to that. I mean, so all this is going on. Laurie Strode's still in the hospital, and honestly, it's around about this point when I started to feel think, are the guy just going to put a scene in where she's changing a colostomy bag or something, just something to pad out the running time, because there's nothing happening here. I mean, and obviously then the other escaped convict, not Michael Myers, the other guy who escaped the bus from the first film that we never saw in the first film, manages to find his way to the hospital, and that's the only real thing that happens at the hospital, is all the sort of mob converges on there, and the guy, evil dies tonight, we're going to kill him, he's here. And
he jumps out of a window and there's a crumpled mess on the floor.
It's terrible.
With Tommy Doyle hanging over his body. But how do we know we didn't get the right guy? Because you saw him on TV, you idiots!
There was a couple of characters I really did like, actually.
Yeah.
The gay couple that lived in the old Myers house.
Big John and Little John.
Big John and Little John.
Yeah.
When Big John sprung into action in his sexy silk boxers and his little tiny stabber.
Yeah. As soon as that robe comes off.
Yeah.
Picks up the knife. I've got this knife. And the other guy picks up the other knife. And I've got this knife.
They were fun when they were tormenting the kids outside and stuff.
Yeah.
They were.
And they're walking around the house like shitting their pants. They keep shouting to each other, Big John!
Yeah, they walk around their own house like they've never been in it before.
Yeah.
I always hate when stuff like that happens. So that's it at that point. I mean, basically, there's side characters are all being murdered by Michael Myers while the lynch mob goes crazy in the hospital, which is, it's obviously just a sort of a take on the mass hysteria that we've just seen in America all over the last year and a half on TV and stuff. But it's, I don't know. I think it was a bit on the nose. It's probably a bit on the nose. Without going too deep into politics and stuff, some of that stuff was a bit.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit with it. Yeah. I'll get to the end scene of a movie in a bit. I won't mention what happens near the end right now, but I'll get to that in a bit. And Now, there was some interesting kills in there, though.
Oh, definitely.
So you've got the old couple.
I mean,
playing with the drone.
That is kind of strange, though. I mean, because Halloween wasn't really the film to watch for the kills, because the kills weren't creative. It was more about the suspense and stuff. I mean, if you wanted to watch a slasher film for the creative kills, then you watch Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th for it,
Like so the new Halloweens are really kind of like Friday the 13th films more than Halloween films.
When I was taking notes while watching the movie, one of the notes I did make was there's too much Michael Myers in it.
Yeah, definitely. There's no sort of lingering at shadows and POV shots, and so you just see his shoulder pop into frame.
You got that suspension built in the originals, original. But in this one, there's none of that. It just comes out like an unstoppable powerhouse. Just walks fudding around, just grabbing people. He's getting shot at, he's getting knifed and hit and shit. He just doesn't care. He's just this unstoppable powerhouse who you see on screen doing all these things.
It is very more action orientated than anything. It is really. I mean, he's basically the Terminator.
Yeah,
he's the Terminator in this. What did I want to bring up? So, the kid in the skirt.
Yeah.
Everyone who was in like the first film, if they've been in Halloween costumes, everybody's got changed into the normal street clothes to hunt Michael Myers, except this kid. He spends the rest of the film running around in that skirt. Now, I think we know why that is. I mean, it's not exactly practical lynch mob attire, is it? It felt like, oh look, we've got I don't know if we got a certain member of an alphabet community to please, and so we're going to have this kid running around in a dress, and it
did feel a bit too in your face, almost like it was pandering to something. It did.
It never explicitly says anything.
No,
but it just seems so strange, and then obviously if he gets attacked by Michael Myers at some point, so then you've got the girl rescuing a very effeminate boyfriend in a dress.
Yeah,
and I don't really know what to say about it, but but I think that's the problem, right? They want to say something, but even they don't know what they want to say. So they just So they just put a kid in a dress and go, "We're progressive. We're progressive."
And once again,
like
give
us.
the woman the sort of the power.
Give the trailer Twitter likes.
Yeah.
They don't actually know what point it is that they're trying to get across, which is just shows how tone deaf they are in the film industry and Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah, it did feel like it was too much of an obvious like switch of the roles. Like he says, the man in the dress, the woman becomes sort of like the hero in that moment where she's like wearing the pants, so to speak. While the boyfriend's upstairs getting roughed up by a Terminator-style Michael Myers on the stairs.
Getting stomped on. And basically, the entire film sort of crescendos in this on the Myers house street, out on the street. Yeah. And the entire town finds him, all the lynch mob, and they just beat the shit out of him in the street. They literally just kick the shit out of him. They're jumping up and down on him. It's like it reminded me of that scene from Don't Be a Menace to South Central. I'll drink you juice of the hood, where they're just jumping up the guy and they get up and down the guy on the floor until he's like a pancake. And it's just like that. And it's just really like, really? So you're gonna do Michael Myers? You're gonna get just like 20 or 30 guys and
just lynched and kicked in.
Just like beat him in the street. And
something else I had a problem with that scene as well was they had guns as well.
Yeah.
They were there to kill him, but they all decided, they're going to like rush him or beat him down to the ground. Not one of them decided, now he's on the ground, let's just finish him off and shoot him a few times.
I think somebody did shoot him before he went down, didn't they? I'm sure somebody shot him.
I think he got a couple of shots, but somebody got a couple of shots.
So much happened in that last sort of thing, man.
Yeah.
I think somebody did.
I can't remember where he got shot in the movie, but he did get shot.
So I'm sounding a bit snotty. I've got a bit of a cold, I think.
Ugh.
Keep hydrating.
It's all that cock starts.
I can't help it. I'm insatiable.
Just gag him in the back of the throat. But yeah, Michael Myers.
Loads of protein in that. Your waste. Spitting's a waste. So, but anyway, yeah, they don't beat the shit out of him in the street. And then it obviously, it turns out I'll get to that in a second, but basically they're not kicking the shit out of him in the street. And the daughter and the granddaughter are in the house like going, yeah, we've got him now. Everyone's stomping him outside, and then the obvious happens. Michael Myers just goes, you know what? I'm fed up of being beat up now. Just stands up, goes into full Terminator mode, and just murders everybody. Just everybody. It's all screaming, and for some reason, no more cops come or anything. Like all the neighbours in the vicinity are completely deaf, and the people in the house don't even hear him creeping up because he obviously comes back into the house.
And what I found
all screaming in the street, being murdered.
The thing is, though, when he stands up, he pulls a knife out of his back and he starts killing people when he stands up. I think like that scene was just so poorly edited. There was like this voiceover going over the top of it. Something about, evil doesn't die, it haunts the town, and all this, like, I don't know, all this bullshit going on where I can't even remember what they were said in the speech. And it's like cutting to these flashes of Michael Myers just swinging his knife, and then blood splitting out someone's neck. Then the next guy, Michael Myers swinging the knife, next guy he's getting stabbed in the gut, and he's swinging the knife again. It's like, wait a minute, there's a bunch of them. And now it becomes like a one-on-one fight where they're like lined up in front of him, like,
They go into Bruce Lee mode. They go into Bruce Lee mode. Like, Michael Myers is Bruce Lee, and they're taking turns to attack him while he stands in the middle. Just
they're all going, to the face. He's already stood back up, and all those guys are going with the knives and the baseball bats. And then the guys with the guns are just stood at the back going, go on, get your turn, I'm not even going to take a shot. He's killed 30 of them now, I'll just stand in the
middle. Fair fight. But when they all cornered him in the street, for some reason, I kind of expected Electric Light Orchestra's Showdown to come on the soundtrack for some reason. But it's kind of, I don't know, it's really silly. And then, obviously, he's alive, he's well, and it turns out the only thing Michael Myers ever wanted to do was look out of his bedroom window. Or was it his sister's bedroom window? I forget.
His sister's bedroom window,
His sister's bedroom window. That's all he wanted to do. Now, everybody's dead. He kills another character right at the end of the film. And then the film ends. And you're sort of like, so where are they going to go from here? I mean, at the end of 2018, I thought, where are they going to go with the next film? And now, this one, I'm thinking, Jesus, like, how could they possibly do anything else? And they have got a third film, planned. It's going to come out. Halloween ends. But where are they going to go? What are they going to do? There's no one left in Haddonfield. They killed everybody.
It's going to be like, now Michael Myers is now living in a ghost town where he's the only one there, where he spends his days happily staring out of his sister's window and drinking herbal tea.
And if that's all he wanted to do, why don't they just say, fine, leave him there? We'll have someone take him some sandwiches up once a week and we'll just board him up in house. There, done. Trilogy over. That's what the third film would be. We'll just board it house up and he's just there looking out window until last ball goes over his eyes. That's it. The end. But
2 hours and boarding up an house.
I mean, can you see where they can go from here? Because I can't. Honestly, I can't.
So, like we said before, earlier on, the first Halloween movie were good. They've been a bit ropey. I'm a fan of the Michael Myers character, but not what they did with the movies. I feel like the previous one, Halloween 2018, wasn't it? Was it 2018? Yeah. I feel like that one kind of like brought a bit of it brought something back to the Halloween name, where it was like, yeah, it was quite a fun movie to watch. It wasn't like tainted by the previous ones in the series. It was almost like a direct sequel to the original 70s one. And then this comes out, and I feel like now it's just gone back and it's just pissed all over the Halloween name again.
Yeah, I think it should never really have been a franchise. I mean,
it shouldn't have been.
It's sort of one-trick pony, isn't it? I mean,
if they'd have stuck to what John Carpenter originally had intended for the Halloween series,
they would have been anthology films.
Yeah. Rather than just it's all about Michael Myers. No, they should have just stuck with what John Carpenter originally had intended.
Because it's not like Friday the 13th where the kills get super creative. The proper gore films. They're not like that, so it didn't really make any sense to do it like that. But I know there's obviously Halloween fans, but I don't know. I mean, Halloween Kills wasn't a terrible film.
It was fun to watch.
It wasn't even a bad film. It was a mediocre film, maybe, and it was fun. It's you get some popcorn and waste an hour and a half, and you'll probably enjoy it. But I don't really envision me watching it again. And be amazed at the stuff I've watched again.
It wasn't bad. I mean, it was a fun movie to watch. It was fun, but like you say, I just can't imagine myself thinking one night, I want some scary movie. Oh, Halloween Kills. I'll just slip right into the Blu-ray player.
The odds to me, I think the only time I probably would rewatch it is when I've completely forgotten everything about it.
Yeah.
That's what usually happens. What film did I rewatch recently? I'd forgotten completely about it. One of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels. And then I remember
it wasn't the one with the trailer. Was it the second one with the trailer where the chainsaw comes out of the lake and he raises his hand like some sort of silver? Or was that number 3?
I think that's I don't know. I think it was Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation.
Next Generation
with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. Yeah. And that was just a perplexing, annoying.
Yeah, it was. It was almost like your usual Matthew McConaughey movie. Matthew McConaughey as Matthew McConaughey.
He's really working his ass off for the film. Where you're like, oh yeah, this film's terrible, but he's doing something. He's doing something. Not like Renee Zellweger, who was never good in anything ever.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I had to slap a score on Halloween Kills, I'm going to hit it with 2.5 out of 5 chainsaws. I don't think I can do any better.
Since I was going to score some like a 1 to 10, I'd give it a 7.
Give it a 7.
A 7. Because I always have, where 5's your average, 6 is slightly over the average, which there's a lot of average movies out there, let's be honest. 6 is slightly over average. And this reaches that point where it's a bit over average and it's also fun to watch.
No, well, I put 7 as good. Good. I think you enjoyed it a slightly bit more than I did, but no.
I probably did, yeah. I thought it was quite fun.
Oh, good. So, from me, you're going to maybe watch it, if you're bored. Yeah. From him, watch it. It's fun. Okay, so let's not talk about that anymore. I'm fed up of talking about Halloween Kills now.
Yeah, let's forget about that one. It's done. It's over.
So I did watch the first episode of the Chucky series, and I had actually completely forgotten it was even coming out.
Yes, same here. But when you mentioned it to me earlier, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that it actually came out. I was supposed to watch it. So I didn't watch it. I'm not bothered if you give me some spoilers here. But was it good?
I've only watched the first episode, so I can't really spoil a lot anyway. And to be fair, the minute you start watching it, you'll see most of it coming. So, so the Chucky series is about a gay 14-year-old kid, who finds a Chucky doll at a yard sale. And he takes the Chucky doll home, where his obvious abusive alcoholic father.
Normally are in these type of movies,
because the television mandated abusive father, because you're not allowed to have a positive male father figure.
Yeah.
Now let's see if I'm a positive male father figure and see what's going on. Hello? I can't hear you, son. I've got headphones on.
You have to come in that Mum's room.
Why have to come in Mum's room? Why do I have to do what?
Because you need that.
Oh, don't you need to go to sleep? It's late.
Well, yes.
Go on, back to bed.
Well, something pulled off it.
Well, I think you'll survive.
Like the quilt.
The quilt fell off. Cover yourself back up then. Go on, back to bed. Bedtime. Go. Go. Kids.
These kids are the true aura of the world.
Too much energy.
Yeah.
Too much energy. But yeah, you don't get sort of positive dads on TV in films. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you don't have to see it anymore, do you?
No. But obviously, the first 10 minutes of the TV show was just debate. Is just debating the kid's sexuality and stuff, which, I mean, shouldn't really be important. You should be building his character first. The first thing you shouldn't be focusing on is the kid's sexuality. If he's gay, he's gay. That's fine. It
doesn't mean that's all there is about him.
No, I mean that shouldn't be his most important aspect, should it? I mean, it should obviously build on his character, and we'll reveal bits about him as we go. Not just go, right, this is your main guy, and he's gay. Have you heard me? Gay. You better like it. Let him develop. It seems like a capable actor who's playing him. So there's that, and obviously he's building some kind of giant mannequin out of severed doll heads.
Yeah.
But he realizes, I think, that the Chucky doll's worth money, so he doesn't disassemble it.
Okay, so he doesn't disassemble that one.
No.
Well, I think he'd get a nasty surprise if he tried.
But he takes it to school the next day, and he's walking around school, cuddling this big Chucky doll, and amazingly, nobody's giving him any shit about it at all. No, it's like the school bully is like this blonde girl and a jerk, like one male jerk, and the only shit they give him is because he's poor. So he gets.
For saying nothing about a 14-year-old boy carrying a doll around the school.
No, so he gets a bit of stick for being poor and stuff.
Yeah.
And he makes gooey eyes at another lad that he fancies, a black kid on the school bus and stuff, which, they're hammering it in really early. Gay.
Yeah.
It's just that the characters develop. It's a bit silly. So that happens, and then sort of Chucky obviously is left in a classroom. I can't remember why. I've forgotten already. Chucky sort of gets left in a classroom and with this blonde girl that's been tormenting him, and suddenly Chucky comes to life, and it's like obvious as parrot straight away. Oh, Chucky's took a liking to this kid, and now he's going to mess with anybody who bullies him. So he messes with this blonde girl a bit, but she gets away with it and stuff. And then a bit later they're doing they do like a talent show. I think it's a talent show, and the blonde girl's on stage in this colourful outfit, and I'm not sure what a talent was supposed to be, but all she does is get up on stage and just starts trying to out this gay kid on stage, and it's really bizarre. It's really strange that she's up on stage trying to out this kid, and people are kind of laughing and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? And then Chucky pipes up behind him. He's got Chucky sat there and he put Chucky pipes up. He's like,
yeah.
What's that? And he's like, picks it up. Chucky whispers in his ear, and I thought, I know what he's going to do here. And he got up on stage and does a ventriloquist act with Chucky. Not kidding. That really happened. He gets up on stage. He does a ventriloquist act with Chucky, and Chucky starts like tearing into this girl. Turns out he's found a phone. He's like, "Oh, you've got pictures of your boyfriend. Oh, and pictures of this other kid. Oh, and you're into Pokemon porn and all this stuff." And he's like ripping into this girl and revealing secrets about her, and all the parents are laughing again, which is really strange.
Really that makes sense again.
Like, what's going on? And then Chucky flips the script and then shames the parents for laughing and tells them they're all go fuck themselves and starts swearing at them. And then he gets dragged off stage, and then all the parents are like, "Yay!" So what? Why? But
I can't quite remember that. Did this happen to be written by Netflix? Is this like a Netflix original?
It's Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi
Channel. I believe it's Sci-Fi Channel.
Because the way you just described it there, it seems to have Netflix written all over it.
Well, the weird thing is, Ray, the scene, as stupid as I just made that sound, was really fun. Yeah. I was like laughing, thinking, what? Because I didn't expect, once he got up, I kind of knew what was going to happen. Yeah. I was like, I can't believe they're going this route. This is nuts. This is kind of nuts.
Is this a direct sequel to the original Child's Play movies?
I don't know, because there's no Chucky rebirth or anything. He just is. He's just at this yard sale. Maybe they'll get into that later, but they've not really got to that yet. I mean, there was a scene before this where he gets an ominous phone call. Yeah. And he's on the phone, and there's a man who's like, "Yeah, you've listed this Chucky doll on like eBay or whatever. He's listed it because it's worth a lot of money, and he needs this money to go on this art trip that his dad can't afford him." Yeah. So he's like, "Yeah, I want to know. Tell me some details about it. Has anything weird happened? Like, has anybody disappeared?" He's like, "Check the batteries." And he's like, "Oh." Gets Chucky, checks the batteries, and he's got no batteries. So he immediately, this kid goes outside and throws Chucky away. But at that point, nothing weird's happened. He's not seen anything strange. Chucky's just gone, "Oh God, no batteries! This thing worth a lot of money." Just throws it in the bin. And then it's a surprise.
That kind of indicates when there's some sort of stories around it, like it is a character that already pre-exists.
I believe it's Andy Bartley. I think it's Andy Bartley, the kid from the original film, and he popped up in the last couple of films as well.
So I'm assuming it's nothing to do with the remake for it or the retelling with Mark Hamill as Chucky. No, I'm assuming it's not linked to that one anyway.
No, because Brad Dourif does play Chucky, and he does play as he always does, because Brad Dourif's an amazing actor.
Oh, he is the voice of Chucky anyway. Yeah.
I didn't mind the remake just because it was so stupid.
I didn't mind it either, to be honest.
With the guy where he got his face torn off with the lawnmower. That was amazing. That was amazing. I didn't see that. That was nuts. But yeah, so that he gets the ominous phone call and stuff, and he throws it away, and then it's a surprise when he's at the talent contest that Chucky's behind, doesn't know he's there. So when he speaks to him, and then gets up and does the ventriloquist act, and then he goes home, and after this, and his dad's found out he's been expelled from school, and then beats him up for being gay. His dad beats him up for being gay, because obviously that's what dads do when they find out the kids are gay. They beat them up.
Being expelled from school. It's like, pick one up over. Oh, we're going to beat him for today. He's either gay or being expelled from school.
He's angry about...
He doesn't matter about his education. It's his sexuality that's the issue.
He's angry about being expelled from school, but as soon as he mentions being gay, that he just like pins him up and hits him and stuff. He just like... It's ridiculous. I mean, we're dads. We don't care what sexuality your kid turns out to be. I mean, it's be a massive disappointment. It's a disappointment that you won't get grandkids and stuff, but you know what? It won't be a disappointment how much money I'd save.
I was about to say that, just think of your wallet at the end of that.
Yeah, save loads of cash.
What? No grandkids? Looks like I'm going to die rich.
Yeah, and so the Chucky does in the abusive father.
Yeah.
And he sort of... the father's played by Devon Sawa. I don't know if you remember Devon Sawa. He was the main guy in Final Destination.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
I forget the kid's name in it. And he was in a film I used to really like when I was a well, maybe a bit older teenager, Idle Hands with Seth Green. I don't know if you've seen that one. That one's pretty good.
Don't remember much about Idlelands.
And Jessica Alba's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about that one.
I remember that bit. But,
well, yeah, I think most people remember Jessica Alba, when she was in a prime.
But yeah, he sort of had a career that was taking off in the really early late 90s, early 2000s, and then I think he turned to booze and beat his girlfriend up or something scumbaggy. And then that's it.
And then they decided to make him play himself as an alcoholic. Obese.
Well, yeah, he didn't get any work until he did I think it was a straight-to-video Escape Plan sequel with Sylvester Stallone.
Jesus.
And, he's back working again, and he's in this.
Yeah.
And after he's been done in, his brother shows up. The kid's uncle turns up to take him in, and also played by Devon Sawa, the uncle. And now he's in a house. It ends with him in a house where the wealthy, the well-off. So he's in this big house. His cousin's a complete knob. The uncle's kid hates him. And Chucky sort of then reveals himself to him, and then it's whatever happens next. And that's Chucky. It's equal parts entertaining, equal parts eye-rolling. But hopefully they can take it somewhere and do something interesting. Do something more with it than constantly playing on the character's sexuality, because he needs to be more than that. That cannot be his character.
Yeah, only defining feature. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been more than that. Yeah, I'll probably give it. Well, I will give it a watch at some point.
I know I've ruined the first episode for you, but obviously it should go somewhere from there. I hope it does. I think there are two episodes have been out so far.
Yeah, I'll probably start binge watching it at some point. Wait till a few more episodes are out and then just go from there with it.
Yeah.
Like I normally do. And
I think that's sort of where we're at with the state of horror films at the minute as well. I mean, there's nothing really. Moving on. I can't think of anything really exciting that's coming up in the horror industry at all. Not really.
There's nothing really new, is there?
It's because it's become maybe nearly impossible to make a really good horror film due to politics and things like that. I mean, you can't. I mean, Halloween. You know what that film was missing?
Tits.
No tits. No tits at all. No.
Yep, tits.
Zero tits.
I did actually notice that as well. I thought, is that in my notes somewhere? No tits.
Oh god.
Yeah, I think that was in my notes actually. No tits in them.
I'll have to return in a minute. Hold the fort. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll just talk about tits for the next few minutes.
You do it. What's the matter, son? What? What's the matter? Why? It didn't fall on the floor, did it? You threw it on the floor. No, you were told to be still and go to sleep. It's well past your bedtime. Now go to sleep. Your mummy will be really mad when she comes in, won't she?
Oh yes, as you can see, the background there is Friday the 13th mask. Chris is a big fan of Friday the 13th. Me, on the other hand, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of the series, but I did like the original Friday the 13th. I think it was Friday the 13th 2 where he had the sack on his head, and then from then on, they developed a character with the old hockey mask. But yeah, my favourite in the series was the first one. Oh, I was just talking about Friday the 13th after I noticed the mask at the back there.
Oh.
Yeah. I was just saying about you're a big fan of Friday the 13th. Me, on the other hand, I like the first movie. Oh wait, another mask.
No, I'm not a fan of Friday the 13th at all.
Yeah, I'll just quickly mention that I like the first movie. I like what we did with it and stuff. Number 2 I didn't mind so much, and the sequels I didn't really mind. But yeah, I was just saying that, Jason didn't really become Jason until later on when he got like the hockey mask. That's when he became like recognisable as that character.
Yeah, part 3. Part 3, definitely.
But what were we talking about before he left? The state of horrors.
Yeah, well, sorry. Apparently, the state of horror in the house at the minute is apparently a ghost through the boys' bedding on the floor. He definitely didn't do it himself, jumping around like a loony. Instead
Oh, yeah, of course not, yeah. I mean, yeah, real ghosts in there.
So, well, see if he quietens down. But no, I mean, yeah, State of Horror sort of, it's sunk to a point where you can't really make these films. I mean, could you actually imagine them trying to make a Friday the 13th film now? I mean, the big legal battle has just wrapped up from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And really, what they should be doing is looking, so, right, we've wasted all this money on these legal issues. How do we make some money?
Was it something to do with, now that a certain amount of years has passed since the first movie or something, the rights have now gone back to the original creator or something like that?
To the writer.
Yeah, the writer, yeah.
What it kind of boils down to is
a bit like what happened with Stephen King. He got the rights back to some of his movies, like It. So of course that's why Hollywood shit out the new It movies,
right?
Part 1 and 2, because Stephen King was about to get his rights back to his movies.
Oh, right. So he could sell the rights to make a film again. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Doctor Sleep came rushed out before Stephen King got his rights back to that as well. I think the crapped out Doctor Sleep as well, if I remember correctly. It was something along those lines.
Maybe, well, this is sort of more that the argument is that Victor Miller, who wrote Friday the 13th. The argument is that Sean Cunningham, the director, producer, his argument is he hired Victor Miller specifically to write this script and write these characters. Victor Miller's argument is, I wrote this script, I created these characters, so I own the characters. But so it's kind of that battle, and Victor Miller's won. And this is a man who had nothing to do with any of the sequels.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, when it was created back in, was it 70s or 80s, wasn't it?
Probably like 1979. 1979, when they were in production. Yeah.
That's the thing, things were a little bit sketchier back then for like keeping track of who owns what.
So of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was funded by mafia money, like one of the production houses, allegedly mafia run, and because Tobe Hooper didn't check his contracts and stuff, they basically just kept all the cash when that film raked in the money, and he didn't see a penny. He had to make Texas Chainsaw 2, and he's very lucky he got Poltergeist, because he would have been broke.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's hard to be. I find it hard to have any sympathy for Sean Cunningham when it comes to Friday the 13th, because he's always been a man that never really understood the franchise. I mean, obviously he made the first film.
Yeah.
But Steve Miner came along and made 2 and 3 with Frank Mancuso Jr. was one of the producers, and they really shaped it into what it was. Because when they got to the point of Jason Goes to Hell and Sean Cunningham's back in the producer's seat and he's calling the shots, first thing he says to the kid who directed it, I think his name was Adam Marcus, he said, "Get rid of that hockey mask. Like, you're a madman. You do not understand your own franchise." And then he did, obviously, okayed Jason in Space.
Oh, that was a fucking mess. That was something else, was that Jason in Space?
He's always, if you see his interviews or anything, you can always see he's really resentful about the hockey mask stuff. He hates it, but, you know, he should really, that's where the franchise's art is. He should embrace it, but he never really did.
The fans love it. The fans have made it what it is, that, iconic thing of the hockey mask, because we loved it so much. You can't just sit there and go, "Oh no, I hate this shit. I don't care what they're like. I don't care if it weren't for hockey mask. People won't really remember too much about Jason."
I know one's everyone considers one the classic. I always thought 2's better. 2's better. There's a bit more mystery to 2, I think, as well. In fact, the mystery in 1's really strange. That the way Mrs. Voorhees just pops up at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, out of nowhere, it's like one who knows what's going off. Is it Jason who's to kill him, and all of a sudden
in 2 it's it could be Jason, but we don't really know because he's just this campfire tale, and then he just turned up. And I always preferred the second one. But obviously I really prefer the third one. Because the third one's like the best film ever made. If you're an idiot. It's not the best film ever made, but it's probably I just get so much enjoyment out of that film. I can't even explain it.
The satisfaction of it.
Yeah, but I think you have as well. You recently we've sort of been on a binge of Friday the 13th fan films.
Yes, I watched a few of those. I can't remember what the names of those was, but yes, I watched a few of those. I was just like, clicking through them on YouTube and I'm thinking they're actually pretty good.
There are
People
a couple
actually
that are
doing
pretty
some.
good.
People are doing some pretty good shit nowadays with existing franchise, making their own fan versions.
Everybody really likes the Never Ike Alone and the sequel, Never Ike in the Snow. Everyone always goes on about those two. I back those on Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. They're really, really well made. But they've not quite got all the ingredients that make a great Friday the 13th experience. And a lot of these people that were making Friday the 13th fan films are they've got the recipe for a Friday the 13th film, but they've not got the balls to use all the ingredients. So you're never going to get the complete meal.
You're never going to get the tennis.
But a couple did.
Yeah, they did. They did.
There's about two. There's two that I could think of. It was called Friday the 13th Vengeance, and they're making another one of those. And there's another one, but I forget its name. That are both on YouTube. And when you click on them, they've got the age restricted warning. And they got all the ingredients.
Violence, nudity, and all that other good stuff.
The problem is they were lacking a bit more in the. Vengeance is probably the more popular of those, but it's lacking a bit in the production department compared to things like Never Ike in the Snow. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, what I really want to see is somebody with
go all out,
but with the right production skills, and the correct backing, and know exactly what they want, and to make a proper fan Friday the 13th film, something with really all the ingredients.
Speaking about fan films, it does say, like we were just talking about the state of the horror industry, fan films tell you a lot about that fans are not satisfied with movies that are getting pumped out at the moment. They're actually going out and making their own sequels because they're just not really happy with the state of things at the moment.
That should be the biggest thing that Hollywood are looking at. They should be looking at what these people are putting out and the kind of views that they're getting on YouTube, which is a limited audience, really. I mean, it's not every. I mean, a lot of people watch YouTube, but not everybody watches YouTube, because a lot of people would say, a fan film or a short film on YouTube, they won't watch it because in their head it's not canon. They won't take it seriously. But what they should be looking at is the people who have responded to these films and seeing what they are putting out, and then saying, this is what we should be doing. Obviously, on a bigger scale, we'll put it on the big screen, and people will pay to see these films. Yeah. But they don't. they're absolutely dead against it. And I wanted to talk about this. I don't know if you're familiar with the Slumber Party Massacre films.
So I'm familiar with the first one. I watched. Okay. That was another one of video rentals I watched when I was about 10 or 11. Yeah. It'll be one of those VHS tapes from either a rental or maybe my dad owned it or something.
I've seen 1 and 2. I don't remember the first one much, but I remember the second one because the killer has like a song and dance number at the end. It was really amazing and crazy. It's absolutely nuts. It was just a completely different killer, but he's supposed to be the same killer but a different actor. And the girl in it was supposed to survive the first film, and I remember that was a different actress as well. And it was really bizarre, but it was just like absolutely nuts. It was loads of fun. But they've done a reboot of the original. I
saw the trailer to that.
The Slumber Party Massacre. And I remember going on IMDb, and I thought, am I going to watch this? And I clicked the trivia. And there was only a single piece of trivia on the IMDb site. And it said, the director has remade this film with I'm going to read it verbatim. I don't want to paraphrase it. So let's I'm going to get it on my phone and read it properly.
Brace myself for this. This is the first time I'm hearing this. So.
Okay, here we go. I know. Boomer trying to use technology. There's more trivia now. They've added more trivia.
Found it.
Yeah, I'm going to read the piece that I read before. The female filmmakers behind this remake of the 1982 slasher film promised to take the best parts of its predecessor, scrapping the demeaning bits and amping up the female gaze to 11, though they didn't explain what that meant.
So, if I was going to take away what I'd interpret that to mean, just from hearing that, I'd kind of think, a bunch of feminists didn't like all the titties and gore in the original. They wanted to give power back to the women, where women come on screen and kick ass without having to show their titties.
That piece of trivia has been edited, because the last time I read it, it said scrap the male gaze. They've edited that. So let that sink in. Somebody said we're going to remake Slumber Party Massacre and we're going to scrap the male gaze. Slumber Party Massacre? I mean, if you don't automatically picture women in their underwear eating each other with pillows and a guy at a window with a drill... then...
Yeah, braless, jumping up and down the bed, jiggling about,
That is absolutely nuts. I mean, the guy in the room who went, yeah, here's the money to make this film, he needs his head examined, because he might as well have just set fire to all his cash.
Taking a movie that had a limited audience in the first place, because it was like a cult classic, so to speak. I mean, I'm sure there's loads of people who've never heard of Slumber Party Massacre. So, a movie, limited audience. They're going to remake a movie that had a limited audience, and then people would go, that name on that movie. All these masses of fans are going to remember that one. No, there's literally no audience, and then they're going to say, let's remove pretty much everything that the original audience that was already limited liked about the original.
Yeah. It's not a, as far as cult films go, it's not even a really popular one. It's a niche title.
Niche, very niche.
It's a really bad business decision, but that's what all that's happening lately. Is just these constant sort of bad decisions. I just find it's infuriating, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. But
you like your horror movies that came out like original, like 70s, 80s, going into 90s. There was still some okay stuff. Trying to think of any off the top of my head. We'll just pretend there was some okay stuff.
The 90s, I mean, horror was dead in the 90s.
Yeah, I want to say, he died around
horror back in the 90s.
Yeah, he died by the 90s. I mean, like you say, he got his revival a little bit with movies like Scream and,
the post-modern slasher.
Yeah, he got a bit of a revival. Then we entered that stage of start doing all like the remakes of movies, which it's not exclusive to horror movies. It's an Hollywood thing. We start getting the remakes like The Hills Have Eyes, all that sort of stuff, and we start getting like retellings. There was stuff like Evil Dead had a retelling. Because it won't really a remake, it was just like a retelling of the story. And then we've got to a stage now where we're just living in nostalgia, where they look at these movies and they go,
it's altered nostalgia.
Let's make a new horror movie, but in this new horror movie, we have to set it in the 80s when horror used to be good.
But we've got
the 70s.
Everything that was great about the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, the secret is, what these people don't seem to understand is that women like sex scenes in films too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They do. I mean, because there's going to be a shirtless guy or whatever, and and women, and I'm not talking about gay women, don't mind seeing other naked women most of the time. They don't care. They don't care. I mean, if there's a naked bloke on the screen that's sexy, and I'm going, oh no, because obviously I'll be jerking off. But they don't care. They don't care. It's ridiculous. They don't care. It's silly. I mean, the point example. I mean, I was out drinking with some friends and stuff, and I had a T-shirt on that had like a pin-up girl on it.
Yeah.
And every person that said, "Hey, I really like your T-shirt," was a woman. It's like, so,
It's like, what does that tell you? Yeah.
They can appreciate great-looking women as much as we can. So
yeah.
I mean, you said like a really handsome dude, you wouldn't go, oh God, no. You go, oh, it's an handsome dude. Who cares? Silly.
Walk around like, handsome guy, getting out my sight. Oh, Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Oh no, we can't be having that. He's too good looking today.
Oh God. My missus, when I first met my missus, she'd never seen a Nightmare on Elm Street, and her eyes lit up when she saw Johnny Depp was in it. It's like didn't give a shit, and as soon as like Johnny Depp's like,
something familiar.
Yeah. But yeah, you
can enter my nightmares.
It's just not happening. Like the high tier of horror at the minute coming out is like those Conjuring films that are just progressively worse. That third one, Jesus Christ! All they did for the first 20 minutes of that film was rip off a bunch of other films badly.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you, didn't I, where they had all that scene with like the possession and it was like overly done when they do the exorcism.
Straight from The Exorcist. I mean, it's shameless. Even the shot when the
comes into the house, yeah. Got a shot where he stood behind it, was just missing all the mist, and it wasn't even a good shot how they remade it. It was like a dulled down version, but it's like they ramped everything else up, like the possession scenes where his body's contorting in some sort of weird CGI mess.
I didn't enjoy that film at all. I really liked the first one because it was really suspenseful and it had a really nice atmosphere to it. The second one was okay. But
second one, I went to the cinema to see it with my oldest brother. Because, well, I think I told you before, quite a few people in my family who used to like read true ghost stories, true things that are supposed to have happened. I say it with quotation marks because,
amateur horror fans.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they read about possession of, I can't even remember what to call it because, although, like, I'm into that sort of stuff. I don't remember off the top of my head. The actual real case of the sequel of The Conjuring.
Yeah,
England in the centre, yeah. What's the names?
I do know what you mean. It's in Liverpool, wasn't it? I think it was
Liverpool,
the second one. I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, they keep trying to do with Scary Voice.
Yeah, and they've... I've heard lots of recordings that they did, and they faked them, didn't they? The kids faked them for attention.
So, of course, I went to the cinema to see that one. What kind of enjoying it, I thought, it's like a cinematic version. Everything's like ramped up a little bit. But then you got to that part where it's the crooked man. Do you remember the crooked man in the movie? He comes out like a toy box and the big CGI guy walking around.
Silly. He just looked really silly. It looked like something out of a painting, really. Or was it out of a painting? I can't remember. Was there a painting of it in the film?
I think it was a toy box or something. Was it Jack in the Boxes or something?
Oh, right, okay. Oh, he's the nun, was it? It was the nun in the painting.
Yeah, the nun's in the painting, which got its own spin-off, and nun, of course, yeah. And then, so was Annabelle. I thought that was shit as well.
There's two of those, isn't there?
Yeah, there was an Annabelle 2 one.
Yeah, I saw one of them. And I say saw.
I got 20 minutes into the sequel. I turned it off and I never watched the rest of it.
I just phased out. It was on, and I just switched.
So with The Conjuring 2, it just seemed to get amped up. It just seemed to like more and more ridiculous as the movie went on. And then it got to the point where you've got Ed Warren. If you think about what he looked like in real life, he was quite a stocky built guy,
Yeah.
Right? And you've got the guy who's playing him, hanging out of the second floor window, bedroom window, holding onto this child out of the window, and you're thinking, no, that real life Ed Warren was in no physical condition to be in like a thunderstorm, swinging a child from a window so the tree doesn't get him or something. It went full like Cliffhanger. He's hanging out there like Stallone in Cliffhanger holding the child's arm. It just got ridiculous.
The Warrens, they weren't even. If you look into enough of what they actually did, particularly during the sort of Amityville horror scandal when that was going on in the late 70s, they don't come across as good people at all. If you watched, there was a documentary called My Amityville Horror, and it was about
the son of the couple,
the kid. I forget his one of the Lutz kids.
Yeah,
and it's basically just following him around and
telling you what he saw there and all that.
Yeah, you can tell him talking that he's these people like the Warrens come along and he meets Lorraine Warren in this, and they have a talk and stuff.
I think Ed was dead by that point, wasn't he? Because I know Ed passed away. I think he was dead by that point. Made that documentary.
It becomes really obvious that he starts telling these tales, and these tales sort of bring into aspects of the Amityville haunting.
Yeah,
and they also start to bring in aspects of films that were popular at the time, like The Exorcist, like basically scenes lifted from them in his head, and he's talking about them as they happen, and it becomes really sort of apparent that he went for all this stuff. His family forced this hoax on him, and then you had people like the Warrens come along,
take advantage of the situation,
take advantage of it, and reinforce these beliefs on this kid. And he starts to think, meld his memories with things that he's seen on TV or on video, well, not video, cinema or whatever, and he seems really screwed up. And,
I think he definitely messed with him. He definitely messed with his head.
But the Warrens and everybody, they all made some money.
Yeah.
So,
that's what it was about. All the TV appearances we did and everything.
Oh yeah. I think it was it the lawyer, the Lutz's lawyer that they came up with the idea to do the hoax to get a book out. I think I might be wrong there, but I know somebody came up. With the idea to come up with the hoax for a book.
Yeah.
So everybody was sort of in on it. It's kind of pathetic. So anyway, the state of current horrors, it's not good. It's not healthy.
Oh no.
The recipes are all there, but no one wants to use all the ingredients. And whether we've been in Puritan times before, where these things were sort of, unacceptable. I'm sure sooner or later things will flip back round, and we'll have a generation of kids coming up going saying, fuck you, don't tell me what to do. I'm getting some, titties in my movie.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that Horror does get back to what it originally was. It's like a lot of things. Horror wasn't really mainstream back in like 60s and 70s.
That's always a problem when something goes mainstream. It always waters it down.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like some sort of hipster, it was good before it was popular, because I'm not. There's lots of popular things that's good.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
But yeah, it gets, like you say, it gets watered down into the mainstream because you've got producers saying what they should and shouldn't be doing, like in the movies.
Well, movies.
People don't really understand the genre. Next thing you know, they're just like spitting out sequel after sequel, remake after remake, so-called original movies.
Do you want to make your movie, but you've got to tick every one of these boxes.
Yeah.
And make sure everything in here is in it. And here's a list of stuff you can't do.
What's it is no amount.
And I think the biggest opponent of these things is probably the streaming services. Because as time goes on, straight to video is not going to be a thing. In the very near future, straight to video is not going to be a thing. It's straight to streaming. And if these guys don't pick up your film, and I find this really weird. I don't know if you're familiar with the Joe Bob Briggs Last Drive-In show. He's a bit like Elvira, but he's a Texas guy. And he used to do a show all the way through 80s and 90s on American cable.
Yeah, I saw a YouTube video of somebody talking about Elvira, and they did mention the Jojo Briggs thing as well.
Well, now
I wasn't familiar with him.
He's on the horror streaming channel, Shudder.
Yeah.
And they show everything. They show, they show films uncut, and they'll show, sleazy films and everything, with tits and stuff, and gore, and blah, 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 blah.
All good stuff, yeah.
They did an Halloween special. I think, it was a Christmas special. They were doing, what's it called? Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in the film where Linnea Quigley, who we've met.
Yep.
Linnea Quigley is topless, and she gets impaled on some antlers.
As she quite often was in some movies.
And so they decided they're on the set, and they're like, why don't we reenact that scene? We'll reenact it. We'll get set dressed, sort it all out. And Joe Bob's got it's like a co-host called, she's the male girl, Darcy the male girl. She's like, yeah, I'd love to do it. And she's like, I'll do it topless because the character was topless. And it's like, yeah, okay. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. No, the executives should have said we're not allowed to do that. And it's like, what? And they say, but there's tits in the film. You see it in the film. We're showing the film. And they're like, yeah, but for some reason we're not allowed to do that. It's like,
it's kind of like ridiculous. It's like other channel showing movies that are aimed at adults, showing the tits anyway, but they're not allowed to do those stuff in like the little pieces in between the movies.
Yeah, it's
makes no sense.
Strange, but we're not Hollywood executives. We can never begin to understand the complexities and moral judgments these people have to make on a daily basis. Or should everyone clutch the pearls and explode into flames? It's absolutely insane. But having said pretty much all that, I've said all that shit. We've pretty much just pissed all over everything tonight. We've literally nothing good to say.
Tragic situation with Alec Baldwin. Halloween. It was a bit of a letdown, but it was fun. But it was still a letdown. the state of the horror industry. Such a letdown.
Chucky, a bit of a letdown. But the silver lining for all this is gaming, horror gaming, particularly independent. I mean, that's where it's at now. I mean, the films are not there, but there's some really, really good horror experiences, and because they're so interactive now as well. I mean, even like with VR and stuff like that. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think as the saying goes about, great things are born from like limitation. So like you think of like horror movies in the past were born out of like low budgets, nobody knew what they were doing, it was all new. Video games, it's still relatively untapped. A lot of it has been tapped, but in the horror genre, it's like it's untapped. People still finding a way. So some interesting stuff coming out of those.
There should never be a rule book for horror. Just if you don't have to follow.
So the interesting shit's coming out of that, I think. Yeah. So I think that's why video games are actually we're doing it right with horror at the moment.
See, one of my favourites to play around Halloween time, and I've played it a couple of times. I'm playing it again now. Alien Isolation.
I still haven't gone around to playing it yet. Well, I played about an hour of it, and I've watched other people play it, but I've just never got around to it yet. I don't know why.
Really enjoy it, but there's a lot of sort of original Resident Evil and Silent Hill sort of inspired games coming out as well. I mean, I bought one the other week and completed it. It was called Tormented Souls. It's a terrible title, and it had some really terrible voice acting and an incomprehensible storyline, but it played great, and it had some cool it had really great level designs, set designs are absolutely perfect. They looked as great as those old back rendered sort of Resident Evil ones.
Oh,
but they were fully 3D. You eat sweets?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. So the backgrounds were absolutely beautiful. The character designs were really good, and it's really enjoyed it. It was really. I knew it was onto a winner at the beginning, because at the very beginning of the game, the character, for inexplicable reasons, goes to this isolated mansion, and as soon as you walk into the front door, she gets knocked out, and she wakes up naked in a bathtub full of ice with somebody's removed her eye. You're like, what the fuck? That's great. So straight away they've gone, fuck what anybody else thinks, we're just doing what we want.
Yeah,
it's really. I was impressed. The music on it was really reminiscent of sort of Resident Evil 2 as well. The original is really. You should check it out on Steam. I think it's like £16, something like that. It's worth a play.
I think that I saw that you bought that recently, and I think I have added it to my wish list. I think I saw that you bought it. I added it to my wish list. If it's the one I'm thinking of, with the mansion and everything,
that's worth a play for them, definitely. But even the latest Resident Evil game, well, it's got some absolutely colossal plot holes.
Yeah,
big colossal. That's probably one of the best looking Resident Evil games I've played. It looks amazing. The action's there. I think the horror part of it dips off towards the end, but the first half of the game's pretty suspenseful. I like the character design and everything, the werewolves and stuff. It's really good.
It's like Resident Evil nowadays. Well, I suppose number 7 had horror elements. I feel like it's even in number 8, it feels like horror, but that shit sort of horror, if you know what I mean. Well, it's not really scary. No, it's ridiculous, but at the same time, it's good, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I had fun with that one. That was pretty good. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's like Outlast, the Outlast games. There's I think horror gaming's it's come a long way. It's come a long way from 16-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit side scrollers like Castlevania and Splatterhouse, which, while they were always cool as a kid because they weren't scary, it's impossible to be scared by. You'd be like, oh, cool, I can dismember this guy.
Just the pixels going around, can you? Like, oh, it's Dracula.
And then we got to Resident Evil, where it had a few jump scares because of stuff like jumping through windows and stuff. Might have made you jump, but they were never really scary because it was so primitive looking. But obviously, now
do like domineering force of a tyrant at the end, of course, where you just shit yourself running around the room. He's only walking towards you. Yeah, be like panicking, trying to fill it full. It's like, why would he die?
I think the most tension I felt with the tyrant was probably on the helipad. I was trying to complete it in under 3 hours.
Yeah.
With no saves. I was running around the helipad, And I was probably
and you know the time is ticking, and you know you've got to survive
I,
it.
I'm
Yeah,
like, I've got like I had like a timer or something. I could stopwatch something. It was late at night, and I'm running around the helipad, and my brother and his friends came in from the pub late, and they were all absolutely hammered, all drunk, falling all over the place. And I'm like, not saved it. I'm running around the helipad, tyrants all over me. And one of my brother's friends like 6 minutes. What are you doing, kid? You all right, kid? I'm like, fuck. Tyler nailed me, killed me. Oh God! And I just like, what have you done? Just like swinging at him.
yeah. The amount of times when I first attempted my first, under 3 hours run, the amount of times I failed it on the timings. It was just horrible because you're in the last moments of the game and you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to get the rocket launcher, I'm going to unlock it. Because it were game magazines back then, there wasn't internet to prove that you could actually win these things. You just went on good faith that the magazine was telling you the truth this time. Oh, under 3 hours rocket launcher, an infinite ammo, I'll give that a try.
I definitely fell victim to that once because one of the hardest things I did, I finished Resident Evil 2, the Leon A scenario where you fight the beast with waiting for the elevator. That was the last boss, if I remember rightly. I completed that with just the handgun and the knife, and no saves.
Oh. Yeah,
and I was like, ended up knifing that thing and finished it for. I can't remember what the supposed unlockable was to do it, but I did it and got jack shit. That was horrible.
What was the thing about gaming magazines back then? It wasn't good, so full of shit for the unlockables.
You
just went on good faith, yeah, this has got to be true.
I remember being sat in geography class, and a bunch of kids were passing around the nude Lara Croft code.
Oh,
What is it? They're like, oh, it's the dance moves from that Spice Girls video. You have to do the dance moves. Like, are you fucking kidding
I've heard that one. Yeah,
are you stupid? Like, no, it's really like, I don't think so. But a lot of kids went home and tried it that night. Fucking gotta get this right.
And I'm guessing it's when Photoshop started becoming a thing, because then you got magazines with fake images, but put censor across Lara Croft and stuff, saying, check out the new day treat. It's like you start believing it a little bit more. 'Cause it's like, that looks like it could be real. They've censored it. It looks like it could be real this time.
It's that April 1st that cover.
Yeah.
Fucking God bless the internet. Hey, what do you think the best decade for horror films was?
Oh. I wouldn't really put it down to a single horror movie, because if it was down to a single horror movie, I'd probably say the 70s with The Exorcist. Although I wouldn't really fully consider that an horror movie in a way. I'm one of those who sits on the fence and sort of says it's more of a tragedy in a way, what's happening to the characters and all that.
It's got horror elements.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, whenever anybody asks me what the scariest horror film is, I always tell them it's Casino.
Why is that?
Have you ever watched Casino? I tell you, the scariest scene I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah.
He takes Joe Pesci and his brother. I forget the character's name, Nicky and something. And they get took out for a meeting in the middle of this big cornfield, and they get there, and there's just an open grave, and they're like, "Oh fuck!" And then they beat his brother after death in front of him with baseball bats and throw him in this grave, and he's just looking at him just going, "Stop, stop!" I mean, he knows he's next, but he just wants them to stop hurting his brother, even though he knows he's going in that hole next. That's fucking terrifying. I don't know. I just thought that is absolutely terrifying because some of the scariest things is these are based on true stories. I'm not saying that exactly happened, but many things happened. Yeah, and some of the scariest things that could ever happen are what real. Well,
it's grounded in realism, isn't it? Yeah, it's grounded in realism as you watch it, which draws you in.
I mean, when you watch Goodfellas, when Tommy walks into the house, there's a certain sense of dread that kicks in. I always felt. Mafia sort of films have a horror streak running through them. Sopranos.
I think it is. I think like we say about it's something that could actually happen. So it has that fear behind it. Like, well, this could actually be real.
Because these people don't give a fuck. There's you can't reason with them or anything. They don't care. They're just cold inside. They do it for a living.
It turns out that people are the real monsters.
Yeah, that old biscuit. But unfortunately, as cheesy as that sounds, unfortunately it's true. But no, that's how I always.
Best decade, though. Best decade, as we were saying. I think I've got 80s.
You've only got 80s.
I think I've got 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, I always sort of flip flop. I mean, I think personally I would have picked the 70s just because it helped to really pioneer things. Obviously, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a film so notorious it was banned in England despite not showing any on-screen violence, which is just perplexing. Obviously, The Exorcist, some of the Italian films that helped to sort of influence the stuff in the 80s, like some of the Dario Argento stuff. I think Deep Red was in the 70s, I believe. And I remember what was that film called? It had several titles. I think one of the titles was Twitch of the Deaf Nerve. And there was a lot of kills in that were actually... one in particular was lifted straight into Friday the 13th Part 2. This film was made much, much earlier. The film, the scene where the couple are in bed and he spears them in the back. That is lifted straight from an Italian horror film called Twitch of the Deaf Nerve and whatever else it's called. But
you're
probably right. Actually, you're probably right. Probably 80s, because 80s just sort of perfected it, didn't it? 80s sort of perfected the format.
I feel like there's just so much memorable about horror movies of the 80s. There's something so more memorable about them. You've got movies like The Thing in there as well. John Carpenter's The Thing.
The Thing's one of my favourites. I love The Thing. Yeah. And The Terminator, despite what everybody tells you, Terminator 1 is a horror film.
It's an horror, yeah. You could say it's like cross-genre, it's like a sci-fi horror. Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like an action slasher in a way.
Yeah.
And Arnie's fucking, he's terrifying as the Terminator, wasn't he? In the one and only film where he actually terminated anybody.
Yeah. When Terminator 2 it got all PG, didn't it? You can't hurt anyone. Why? Because you just can't. Why?
It was still R-rated, but he just. I mean, I guess they had to do something different, but why they kept on that route and kept making him the good guy, I don't know why. Why would you make Arnold the Terminator and have him not terminate anybody? It doesn't.
I think what the run into the problem is that Arnold Schwarzenegger brought audiences to cinemas around that time. You don't want to take one of your biggest stars in Hollywood and say, now he's a bad guy. It just doesn't happen, does it? I mean, look at Jackie Chan in China. Once he was set in stone as the good guy when his movies started taking off, that was it, he was the good guy. It wasn't until they started making movies in America like The Protector, and then so on, where they started trying to like taint his image a little bit.
Grit him up a bit. Well, he made those. Yeah. I mean, if I remember correctly, you probably know more about this than I do, because you're on Gong Cinema. Jackie Chan was in America at that point because he was running from the Triads.
Yes.
So he didn't really have much choice. So I think if he'd have stayed in Hong Kong, he probably wouldn't have made a film like The Protector, because he took The Protector after they filmed it and he did a separate edit, didn't he? For
he did his own edit of it because he wasn't happy with the original. Yeah.
So, harbouring from murderous mafia members, but no, he's a good guy.
I think there was a story that Jackie Chan once told in his biography, I think it was My Life in Action, where he says when he was hiding from the Triads, he spent a few days of his full production living in one of the warehouses where they were doing the filming. He didn't want to go outside because they were waiting for him.
Those crazy Chinese Triads.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, so yeah. What about you? So what's your favourite? Halloween's coming up. Like it's right around the corner.
Yes.
How's it? I think it's next Sunday, is it?
I want to say Sunday. What day are we on? So, I have a calendar around here.
It is now Sunday, the 24th.
Sunday the 31st.
Yeah, so it's Sunday. Yeah. Do you have a particular horror lineup that you like to watch each year?
So I always go back to the same shit over and over again. Ever since I was a kid. Yeah. The Exorcist.
Okay.
The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
The Thing.
Yeah.
They're like the three main ones. They're the three main go-to. Anything else, it's just dotted around a little bit with what I might watch in between. But they're going to be three movies I always pick up.
I always seem to go back to Creepshow. I always watch Creepshow at Halloween. Not the sequel, just Creepshow.
Yeah, Creepshow 2 was... I don't want to say bad.
I like the rap.
It had some okay parts, It had some okay parts.
It was too short. I think it only had 3 stories. It just seemed to be missing.
Yeah.
I think they had a lot less money for Creepshow 2. But
Yeah.
I always go back to Creepshow. I slid Trick or Treat into that lineup as well because that's really, really fun Halloween film.
Yeah.
I think that came out around about 10 years ago now, 10 or 11 years ago.
But still relatively new, really.
Yeah, that's
As far as horror goes, yeah.
That's a modern classic. So Creepshow, Trick or Treat,
Yeah.
always Friday the 13th Part 3.
Of course.
Of course. There's something about that single entry in the series. Something about it's got I always find it's got a really sort of, it's kooky, it's kind of silly and campy, but it's also got a pretty spooky sort of atmosphere because it's probably the last one where he really hangs around in the background all the time. You don't really see him, and he's got a motive. Well, he's got intentions, and he starts hiding bodies around and things like that. And that weird funky tune. There's something about that damn tune. But I always watch that one, and now I can watch it in 3D finally. And
At last, yeah.
So I watched those three, and what else? Probably Halloween, the original. Probably.
Yeah, Halloween always seems to pop up. Even though I don't intend to watch it, it always just pops up at some point in a movie. I'll be watching TV, it'll come up on like a watch list, like what to watch next on Netflix or some other streaming service. I'm like,
it's inevitable. I mean,
yeah.
I think a lot of people, when you start to think about watching a film for Halloween, I mean, I'd be surprised if people don't. First thing they don't think about is that opening credits scene from Halloween with a pumpkin, and it's just like it's just ingrained, isn't it? After you've seen it.
Although this year I might attempt to actually watch the Rob Zombie remake.
I watched it the other day. I hadn't seen it since it came out.
Yeah, same here. I've only watched it twice. Once around the time it came out, then a few years later I watched it, and then I've not seen it since.
It's.
I know they've tried to do different things in there, like they didn't want Michael Myers driving a car, so they removed that scene where he's in the car.
Yeah, that was silly. That was always silly. He added a learn to drive. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but it's they tried to do something different with it, and they give it a different. It's interesting as a sort of what if sort of film.
Yeah.
I always felt that you give him too much backstory. He's just not.
Yeah, there was a little,
now he's just
there was a little too much in there.
Big autistic kid gone mental, and he's like 18 feet tall, and
yeah.
I tell you what, that's what bothers me about those films, right? The Halloween remake and definitely the sequel, right? For whatever reason, Michael Myers is like 20 feet tall. He's an absolute monster of a man. And in every other scene, a redneck guy, because apparently Haddonfield's absolutely full of rednecks in these films, just go up to him and they're always like, "What are you looking at, you big retard? I'm going to fuck you up," and just start fights with him. Like, just constantly, these dumb fucking idiots just see this absolute monster of a man and think, "I'm going to fight him," and to just get murdered. It's like, what are you doing in my street? Oh shit, he's killing me. What are you doing in my field? But oh shit, he's killing me. It's fucking ridiculous.
I think it's almost like they do those scenes because they want to show how much of a force he is to be reckoned with. You know, like, oh, everybody knows the tough guy who nobody messes with. What happens when the tough guy messes with Michael Myers?
Yeah,
he just fucks up. That scares you, doesn't it? It's like
what happens when Cletus fights fucking Michael Myers? I don't know. But that just kind of made me laugh. It's like, how dumb are these people? Like, if you said just some hobo-looking motherfucker in a white mask holding a butcher knife, pacing up and down, your backyard, and he's 20 feet tall, you don't go up and say, "Look here, pal." Like, "Hello, police. Hello."
That's another thing
Dad,
about the
Dad, there's a guy at yard.
Another thing in Halloween Kills, that scene where he kills that old couple who's flying a drone. And he's got, he slashes her throat with a bulb. He just grabs the bulb, stabs her in the throat. She's sat there bleeding out. And he stood there grabbing every kitchen knife in the background, stabbing them into the old man, one at a time. Until he finds the particular knife he likes. Like he's particular about his kitchen knives. It has to be always that particular knife. As soon as he gets to that knife, he's like, "Oh no, I'm not going to waste it. I'm taking this one with me."
Nice action. Slides in and out like butter. That's brilliant. Taking that.
And that scene sort of made me laugh because it was kind of like he's picking up every knife and stabbing them. Almost like he's like, "What's it feel like?" It's this one's a good one. I like this one. This is my favourite.
Jesus Christ! Now that's that's something. Halloween. What a absolutely disjointed franchise it really turned out to be. I mean, it's almost as incomprehensible as Terminator.
Yeah, because that went down there.
That's another franchise that
Shit road pretty fast, didn't it?
Just took every avenue it possibly could for just burning out big time.
And it's got to the point where they've actually done a similar thing with, well, Halloween did it first, where you get to that point where it's like, a certain amount of years later, to go, how about we just make how about we forget all the shit we did as the sequels, we'll just make a direct sequel to the original. A bit like we did with Terminator Dark Fate. Did you watch that one again?
Yeah, I did watch it, and I mean, just the idea of killing John Connor off at the beginning, just the very idea. No, you're just telling your audience, look, we've got no more ideas. This is it. I mean, and as an audience that's followed this franchise, we don't give a fuck what you think.
I mean, what I want to see. Although they have done it
I know
already.
exactly what I want to see from Terminator. I know exactly what I want to see
I want to see it set in the future.
Yep.
Not like the Christian Bale one, though. Not like that shit.
The fucking dark future from Terminator 1 where everyone's fucking terrified and they're getting crushed by big machines and get the shit shot.
I want to see that one. That's what I want to see.
I want to see Kyle Reese running around trying to eat rat for his dinner. Not Kyle Reese from the future who looks like he's found a good stash of protein powder and he's been bulking up for years at bunker. Of course, what the fuck does that guy eat? Genesis like, but from the future, no food. It's like you just fucking, I'll fight the machines. It's fucking nuts. Kyle Reese in one is just like this wiry little fucking survivor who lived on rats and whatever he could find.
Yeah, no muscle mass at all.
No.
He literally looked like it. Yeah, he literally did look like he was actually starving out there, fighting for his life. That's
what it should be, because it should be really. I think it should be really dark. I mean, the first is a pretty dark film.
Looking at a photograph of his captain's mother.
Yeah. Whilst trying to get a quick wank in before Terminator wipes out the camp. Let's fucking gotta get this over quick.
John Connor walked in. Hey, what you looking at there, Kyle? Nothing. Picture drops on the floor. It's not my mum.
Oh my god, it's all sticky. Oh, what have you done? Fucking burn it. Burn it, I don't want it back.
As a punishment, we're going to send you back in time. Ha! Watch him pay for this. Oh no, joke's on me. It turns out he's my father. He's my father.
Jesus. I mean, the thing they did with John Connor in Genesis, where they turned him into the robot as well. They gave it away in the trailer.
Yeah.
These people. Why is there nobody in the room to tell these people they're crazy when they come up with these ideas? It's just absolutely. But then again, that's what all Genesis are going for it with the altered nostalgia going for it. That's it.
Yeah. Once again, Hollywood running on nostalgia, just playing that whole Trump card. We have like, oh yeah, the audience is gonna love this.
Why can't
you get idiots like me who go out and watch it thinking, yeah, I'll watch it. It's reminiscent of Terminator 1, yeah.
You're that deep into the franchise, you might as well, aren't you? You're like, get a go. But why can't they just do the Dark Future one? Get it on. I mean, that's the sort of thing that should be on Netflix, because you could play that out episodically, no problem. There's tons of material that you could come
story would make sense as well,
There's tons of graphic novels.
Yeah, at the end of Terminator 2, Schwarzenegger goes down, thumbs up, But that's not the end of it. The apocalypse still happens, Skynet still goes live, and it just goes into the future. Why can't we just continue it like that? Was just like a natural progression, but still failed.
Yeah, why not? There's a lot of stuff they could do with it, but it's time travel, isn't it? Christ's sake.
Because wasn't there something in Terminator 2 where, tell me if I'm remembering this correctly, where when those big cogs are going around, Schwarzenegger's arm gets ripped off.
The big cocks?
Those big cogs.
Oh, sorry.
Around, yeah.
I have something called selective hearing.
Yeah, it could be big cogs. Cogs. I don't remember fully. But anyway,
cogs.
He aims his gun, his arm gets ripped through it, his arm gets ripped off. But then at the end, John Connor throws the arm that they got from Dyson's, the vacuum cleaner Dyson. He got it from his laboratory and he chucked that one in the lab.
Still at cogs.
But the other arm's still in the cogs. Why couldn't we just say because they forgot about that? That's the thing that still causes the apocalypse to happen, because we forgot one little detail. The apocalypse still happens.
That all the trying to destroy the stuff, that they lifted that from one of the comic books. I mean, before Terminator 2 was made, there was Terminator Tempest, one of the Dark Horse comics, is like 1989. And
Yeah.
there is a similar plot point in there where they're coming back because this technology's been left behind from the original Destroy Terminator that's going to eventually create Skynet. So,
Yeah.
I mean, unless they already had that idea, then that's a good idea. Let's nick that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not by the first time that happened. I mean, they did same with Predator 2. Some of that stuff was robbed from the comics.
It's another movie. Predator. That's a bit like sci-fi or as well in a way.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of, I mean, when I was a kid, Predator 1's kind of scary in places.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, he's fucking hell. He is taking out these formidable bad motherfuckers, and he's doing a really good job of it as well. but that's, you know what, Predator, I'd probably put money on that's probably the film I've seen the most times. I'd probably never rank it in my top 5 or anything like that, but
it was really good. It's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie. There's tons of, every time I watch it, I said to focus on something a little bit different, and but it's so well put together.
Yeah.
It's just solid. It's a solid film. I mean, it's John McTiernan when he were at his finest. I think it was just before he made Die Hard. Because I think Predator's 1987. I'm going to say Die Hard was 88.
Yeah, I think he came from came from Predator into Die Hard, didn't he? I'm not sure if he made anything in between, but they're like his 2 memorable movies, I suppose, of that era.
And it's just absolutely solid. And I always think Arnie's pretty good in Predator. And he's pretty good in Predator for a reason. He's good in it because he's got all these big macho guys in it with him. That he's just in competition with him in every scene. Yeah. These guys are in competition with each other, and they just like brings out the best in all of them. Even like pretty much non-actors like Jesse Ventura, Carl Weathers. I mean, he was a footballer. You know, obviously he'd done Rocky. But,
of course, the classic son of a bitch scene.
Yeah, I mean,
just, get on.
And
son of a bitch.
You can tell Arnie's like, I'm not losing this fucker on film, and Weathers is like, I don't care if I'm second fiddle, I'm not losing it neither. It's just like, and it's there on screen. It looks great.
You almost feel like that moment where they are like, where they like grab each other's hand and like flexing. You almost feel like that was them in competition of like who can get the biggest flex on camera. So just holding it in front of the camera like, no, mine's bigger. Yeah.
Well, there's a story from, I'm sure it's on one of the making ofs. Is Jesse Ventura was always like trying to outdo Schwarzenegger. He was like, no, my biceps are bigger than yours. I'm bigger this story. And he says, to the wardrobe lady, he says, when you look measurements, tell him is a bigger. It's like, okay. So he goes, and he starts bragging, oh, my biceps are bigger than Mr. Olympia's. Take that, Arnold. And he's like, oh, let's measure him now while we're both next to each other. And they come out and measure him, and Arnie's were bigger. And he's like, you fucker. So Arnie's a proper practical joker, isn't he?
He's a big sneaky bastard.
That's good. It's clever, that. Fucking outwit the competition. Can't rely on his muscles all the time. But no, it's probably not enough good things you say about Predator. I mean, I think the best thing about it is that Van Damme wasn't in it. And I like Van Damme, but I don't think
kind of weird to say, but Van Damme would have ruined that movie.
I think he would.
Van Damme dressed as a
giant insect. I love Bloodsport. I mean, when they go into 90s martial artists, I'd pick Van Damme every fucking time because he was a real martial artist.
Yeah, in the 90s, he just dominated. Yeah, he just dominated the scene in the 90s.
What did you think to the sequels for Predator, though?
Predator 2, I liked it.
I like 2 more than it gets credit for.
Yes, I think it's underrated.
It's like Total Recall. It's one of the last sort of really gritty, ultra-violent, gory films of the 90s. Because after Total Recall, those films just sort of went...
Yeah, but just disappeared.
Shut down now, yeah.
Then you got Predators, the third one.
I like Predators. I went to the cinema to see it. I took my brother.
It's one of those that I like, but there's elements that I don't like about it.
Yeah, it's not.
I didn't really like the introduction of different types of predators. I didn't like that idea. I preferred the idea that predators were just predators and becomes like hunts. I wasn't so keen of like.
I don't know. I like that they had different skills, but they focused on each predator's individual skill. Like that's the only thing they could do.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit odd.
It was like saying they're not really well rounded at all.
The other thing was it doesn't really introduce its human characters very well. It doesn't even like some of them. It doesn't really give them names. I'm sure the one who turns out to be a serial killer never tells you his name. I mean, he's got a name. I for what I remember, but they never actually give him his name in the film.
Yeah, just never built his character or anything, and
or the Yakuza guy doesn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to know who you're working with, right? But I think the pacing was a bit off. But I liked Adrian Brody in it.
I was about to say I didn't mind Adrian Brody as a lead in that one though.
And the girl there,
I think that worked.
Alice Braga, I think was her name.
And he had biceps almost as big as his nose.
He was like he was just ripped. He was muscly, but he was just like he just looked fit, didn't he? Like he could probably fight. He was lean as out. The girl who played Isabel, she was really good. The sniper woman, she was really good.
Yeah,
I like that one. I like that one. It's pretty good.
I mean,
people always complain that they're just copying it because they went back to the jungle. But when Predator 2 came out, everybody moaned like, "What they're doing? They didn't go to the jungle. Can't fucking win.
To the city.
Can't win."
And then after that, what was it? The Predator? What do we call the newest one?
Well, after that, it was the Alien versus Predator films, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't mean those ones. I forget those ones. They don't exist in my mind.
It's very simple to have made an Alien versus Predator film. It should have been not simple to make it, but the idea should have been simple. Because
as we said before, yeah,
there's absolutely tons of material for it, and all you needed
was
in space, tight corridors, isolated Marines, because everyone wants to see the aliens, colonial Marines.
Yep.
Which let's be right, after Aliens, we have never seen the colonial Marines again, despite how popular they are. How does that make any sense to anybody? Right? The aliens and the predators, and they should all be trapped in some isolated location or whatever. But they took the cheap route and they did it on Earth twice. In fact, the second one was Dawson's Creek meets Alien vs Predator. They were both. When I watched the first one, I thought second and it can't be worse. They got an R rating, but somehow it was worse. If you could tell what were happening on the screen because it was so dark.
I feel like in Michael Bean's character, I feel like they could have brought him back in sort of like a canon sort of way. Yeah, after Aliens, he survived. He went back into the Marine Corps, maybe not to his full capacity, but while he's out there, Predator boards a ship. Next thing you know, it's fucking Michael Bean fighting a Predator.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
That's the Marine you'd want to see take him on.
Canon-wise, X did survive. Because, unfortunately, Aliens Colonial Marines was considered canon. And Hicks wasn't in the cryo tube that got nailed.
Yeah.
But they are such a slap in the face to fans of Hicks and you. I mean, there's been a billion opportunities to bring them back. They were supposed to do it for the Blomkamp film that never got off the ground. Because of Ridley Scott. But, yeah, they could easily have done that with Michael Bean. I mean, he wasn't doing anything in the early 2000s. They could have got him for a Alien vs. Predator.
He just sort of disappeared, didn't he? Wherever he went.
Why no fucking Colonial Marines? They were so popular. But never in another film. But you think they were, because they got such a presence in the video games and the comics.
Yeah, if you just remember Alien, anytime you remember Alien, it's just naturally associated with those Marines.
It's bizarre.
They kind of go hand in hand somehow.
I've always preferred the first one, I do, but I do really love Aliens. It's not like with Terminator 2, when I like Terminator 2, but I'm not a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of Aliens, despite preferring the first one. But yeah, then, obviously, after talking about those sacks of shit films, it was The Predator.
Yeah, The Predator. So, once again, I kind of like some of the humour sort of elements they brought in there with some of the characters, the dialogue they actually had. I kind of thought that was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was a Shane Black film in that respect. So I mean, I laughed. I mean, I'm a big kid. Even my missus, she laughed with the Tourette's jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember the reviews like, it's offensive. Like, if you've ever listened to a person with Tourette's, it's tragic, but inside you're always laughing. You're always like, fuck, I can't believe you just said that. Can't believe you were going to ask for a pack of chewing gum, but ask for some fannies instead. I want a pack of 20 methylated pussies.
I did like it from the character perspective. Once again, didn't fully enjoy the setting of the movie. We were on a small town, and it felt a little bit Alien versus Predator in that way. In a small town trying to humanise characters where they've got kids. And then at the end of the movie, it went a little bit Stargate, you know, where they're all in that lab and you got like the child genius and they get sent this technology because I'm going to be the man to wear it. The suit, you know, from the Predators to take them on.
The easy backfired at films is just terrible. It's terrible. You could just tell they just... Well, I know they cut some scenes and they had to refilm some scenes because they fired someone because he got outed as a naughty person. And but it's so careless. It's... Because, the first half, it's not great, but it's funny. And I could see why they go that route, because what else can you really do with an alien killing machine on Earth? I mean, how many times are you going to do it until you've got to do something else where, they made a bit of a spoof of it with a bit of comedy. But, it's not like that's not been done before. Really.
I was saying about like natural progression of like what they could have done with like Alien versus Predator. It could have been like a canon sequel to Alien where you have like Iggs taking on like the Predator and an alien aboard the ship. But also with Predator, that could have been a sequel to Predator. But also, if they wanted, they could actually do like a prequel back into the past. Pirates versus Predators.
I would watch that any day of the week. I would watch Pirates. Well, they have done a prequel. There's a new one coming out. It's made. Are you aware of this?
I'm not aware of this, no, Smell.
How are you not aware of this? There is a new Predator film.
Not.
It has been made.
Yeah.
And it has been made to challenge modern... how did they phrase this? Conventional norms. And that the lead character is a Indian woman. Like a Native American woman.
Wait a minute, I didn't know about this. I forgot about this because as soon as you told me about this before, I thought I got no interest in this movie when you told me about it. So then I forgot that, but now you said it, yeah.
She will not be taken serious as a warrior by her people, so to prove herself, and then she fights a predator. It's like, oh God, why?
Just do it with pirates. Just pirates versus a predator. Come on, that'd be like so good. There's so much variety aboard that ship. You got your captain guy. The hard ass. Yeah. He can be like taken by the predator. You've got the cabin boy.
Yeah, but you don't need to.
Who's getting the cabin boy who's getting sick. The cabin boy who's like sick of being ass fucked by the captain. He goes out and gets killed.
We don't need your modern politics. We don't need to see challenging gender norms and things, because you just bring.
I just want to see some cool shit.
Good characters just doing cool stuff. And Pirates versus Predator. That's a fucking great idea. We'll get Disney. Well, unfortunately, you've got to deal with Disney now because Fox.
Yeah,
you need to call Disney and be like, Pirates versus Predator.
Yeah, but you know what Disney would do?
Arr!
Hey, Disney, can we get Pirates versus Predator? Oh, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Hey, Johnny Depp, and we've got this new Pirates of the Caribbean versus Predator movie for you.
Amber Heard's going to play the Predator. I'm out. Fuck it, I'd watch it.
I sort of feel that's what Disney would do with it.
They probably fucking would. And
we'll even bring Orlando Bloom back just so he can die.
Orlando Bloom, except for the Hobbit sort of films, has he done anything else?
So yeah, he did Lord of the Rings, didn't he?
Well, he did the Lord of the Rings. He did Pirates, and then he did Pirates cast him aside on those, didn't he? And he did.
Oh, he did that. That other classic he did. What right now? That really good movie, The Calcium Kid.
Oh, I saw that. It was shit. I didn't say that. You know what? I thought that film, right? That film felt to me like they'd film this thing with this kid who's been in this Lord of the Rings film. The Lord of the Rings isn't out yet because he's having all post-processing or all special effects. So but we've got it on a shelf. If it's big, we'll put this film out, but let's keep it on a shelf. But that was dull. That was a long time ago when I saw that. Long time ago. It was like a lifetime ago.
I'm trying to remember how long that would be now.
I'm going to say about 18 years easy.
Oh, Orlando Bloom did do another thing on Amazon Prime. Carnival Street or something.
Oh, right. I think my...
TV series. It's basically about where, like, humans and fairies, like, live together and different sort of, like, mythical creatures and all that. And he's like a detective.
Yeah, I think the missus watched that. I didn't see it, but she said it was good. Said it was good.
Yeah, well, it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
The Calcium Kid was 2004. So it was 17 years
Jesus
ago.
Christ.
Was it
17.
far
I feel old. I feel old now.
I don't feel. Well, the fact that my ears sort of go in here and here makes me feel old.
Yeah, it's like me having to start like comb it over this way just to. It's thinning
Cold
out a bit.
old.
Like, yeah, it's got a cone to the side now. It can't go straight up anymore. It's got to the other side.
Yeah, next year, as soon as I hit 40, I'll just tell you, I'm just going to wake up and all that's just like going to be gone.
It's going to happen, isn't it?
Wear a mop or something.
You're going to be like Gordon Joseph Levitt in Looper.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a young Bruce Willis and he starts losing his hair and he's got that weird floppy comb over on top.
I really like Looper, but I only saw it once. I've never rewatched it.
I've watched it a few times. It's one of those. I think it's one of the more modern sci-fi movies where I thought they actually did some interesting here.
I like seeing Jeff Daniels as a bad guy.
Yeah.
That was not usual for Jeff Daniels. So he was Jeff Daniels, wasn't he? It was
I think it was.
I'm sure it was. Oh, that was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
Man Looper.
I think we've exhausted all the topics that we set out for the structure of this wildly successful show.
Yeah, I think we've gone through them all.
Is there anything you want to talk about before we close it off?
Nothing springs to mind. There's not really much going on in the industry at the moment.
That tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it?
We've had as usual this year where, because of the pandemic, or Oricon that we normally go to has been cancelled. So
yeah, so we've missed out on Oricon for a couple of years now, haven't we? So that's a
so hopefully next year
we can't slag any celebrities off for the past 2 years.
Yeah,
it's a shame. I enjoyed slagging Corey Feldman off. Give me my cardboard booth. Tell the people about Corey Feldman's cardboard booth and the amount of time he fucking wasted. Well, he wasted your time, didn't he? He wasted a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm like waiting, and he's like stood there behind the curtain, not coming out, and taking some people in behind the curtain for the autograph. And it's like, I'm not standing in that queue. The queue was like hours to go meet him. Then we see him on the panel where he's talking about, so how do you stay like relevant in like Hollywood? It's about reinventing yourself and staying, original. As he sat there dressed like Michael Jackson.
What a dick. I just remember those rows of tables with the celebrity, with the actors, and then obviously because they're all sat fairly close to each other, aren't they? And then you've got Corey Feldman's, and he's just had his people, because Corey Feldman's got people, is important. Set up a cardboard shroud on his desk. Yeah. So you have to go through a little curtain to sit in this cardboard shroud that's probably 4 foot by 4 foot. Probably so he can Me Too you if you're pretty enough. Get your autograph and then leave. And obviously he didn't even see half of his line, did he?
I know loads of people missed out on it. 'Cause I did join the queue briefly, and as I'm studying there, they told me that the queue's that long, chances are you're not going to meet him today, but I'm quite welcome to stay in the queue. And I thought,
no.
Well, that'd be a waste. I'm not going to stand here just to get to the end of the queue, and as I'm walking towards the table, hey, Carver, and he's just standing up and leaving. Nah, fuck this guy.
I mean, was that the same one Sid Haig was at before Sid Haig had died? I can't remember if that was the same con, but I remember Sid Haig. I mean, he was if not 80, very nearly 80, and he was at that table when he went his Q&A. He was at that table all day, all evening, and he didn't leave until he'd seen everybody. And he was really grateful for his fans.
Sid
He was a good dude. He was a really good dude, Sid Haig. I think I posted the video that he recorded. It's on the channel. So if anybody's watching, you want to check out the Sid Haig Q&A. It's on the channel.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff in that one that he said.
Yeah, it was a good dude. When he felt up Pam Grier and then found out she was underage.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Producer. Honestly. Well, I guess that's everything we've got for tonight. We've covered a lot of subjects. We've moaned about a lot of things. We're really good at that. Here, we're moaning and less of heaping praise on things.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that it seems to be a theme here, don't we? Yeah. We start talking about horror and we just want to whip it out and want to start pissing all over it. That's like the theme of it all. Well,
they've been pissing on us as fans for a good few years now, so fuck them.
And then earlier on, I'm sat here and complaining about, Hollywood, like, reaping in from, like, nostalgia nowadays. And here I am, pissing all over, like, modern Hollywood horror because I'm pining for real nostalgia stuff when it used to be like that. I'm doing the exact same, but I'm pissing on as well.
But there's a difference between real
I'm
nostalgia
an hypocrite.
and altered nostalgia.
You'll go about it.
Use all the ingredients, remember? Use all the ingredients.
I feel like that sums it up better than, it sounds better than me just saying, I'm an hypocrite. No, just say there's a difference between nostalgia and altered nostalgia.
Yeah, nobody likes fucking hypocrites, do they? Let's be right. You massive hypocrite.
It's altered nostalgia.
It is what it is, isn't it? You know? If they give us what we want, we would be bitching. Well, we probably would. We'd find something to complain about. Human nature.
Just these videos and streams would be a bit different, wouldn't they?
Right, have you got anything you wanna say before you go? You got I don't know if you're running a channel on YouTube at the minute. If you're
At the moment, I'm not running any channels at the moment due to a certain incident that happened that we won't talk about.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll just throw it out there that it wasn't some Me Too sort of shit. There's none of that going on.
No, they haven't uncovered the text and nude selfies for that allegation yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, it'll come at some point.
So that's Daz. I'm Chris. This is Multimedia Channel, and we do the Kult show, which is me and Daz. Sometimes we review films. Sometimes I do mini reviews on my own. We're going to be putting out a couple of more videos in time for Halloween, including next video I'm going to do is the review of the 4K Scream disc, and talk about Scream at 25 years. And hopefully I'll get out some Scans Lines videos as well, which is a little series I do revolving around retro gaming. But that's it. Thank you very much for coming. We'll see you again. Bye bye.
Well.